Adam, when you're ready.
Daniel, good to see you.
Thank you.
Ahead of the Plymouth game, we know that Junior Farke is available. If selected, he will be be in the team. Jane Bogle's suspended, so you do have a choice to make. But what other team news can you tell us about, please?
Yes, some mixed news. Good news with Max Wilber. Since Tuesday, he's back at least in major parts of team training. We still look after him after he was out right now for, I think, 5 or 5.5 weeks. He joined us in team training on Tuesday, Wednesday, today, just the individual sessions, so we still have to be careful, but good news. So it seems like he could be involved also before the next international break. This is good news. A few question marks behind a few players. One is Geoffrey Gellert. He got a hit on his hip yesterday, so a hip contusion, so was not able to train today, so late decision with him. And 2 question marks behind Daniel James and Patrick Bamford. Daniel James, some problems with his hamstring again, and Patrick with his adductor. Both were not able to train yesterday. They were both involved today in a light session, but the final assessment and the final test is tomorrow in our last session before the game. So we'll make a late decision with them if they are available. Depends on how they come through the session tomorrow. Yes, that's more or less it. All the others are available.
Just on Max Weber then, so he's not available yet to you, but you think he will be come the other side of the international break, is that right?
Well, when you can train, you are at least available to be picked, but obviously he's not ready for 90 minutes. He's also not ready to start a game. Obviously once you're 5.5 weeks out, and there was also a bit like a injury history before, it's not like after 2 sessions and you're fully ready anyhow. So in an emergency case, of course we can pick him, and he could perhaps deliver a few minutes. Yes, that's right. But at the moment we're also not too much forced. So we'll see at which moment we pick him. So obviously he's experienced, and I expect him also. Then to be back really fully available pretty soon. But obviously he's not there with 100%, and we'll see when we pick him.
How pleased were you with Sam Byram last week? Because he hasn't played much this season, obviously, but was he one of the big positives for you last weekend?
Yes, for me, Sam Byram is really a key player, although he has not played that many minutes so far during the season, but he's so important also with his experience in the squad and his quality, also on the training pitch and the dressing room, and whenever I need a player, if it's left back, if it's a right back, even a centre back, I would even pick him sometimes in midfield, so he can play wherever I need him. And I think for that he was not in his full rhythm, really solid performance as a left back. So he had everything under control in terms of defense. Yes, in going forward, of course, and Junior Farke in his full rhythm is a bit more flying, but normally Sam was also involved in good situations, and if Matteo scores a header, then he would be there with a really good assist already. So overall, I think it was a quite solid performance, and yes, we all are happy to have him available.
How well has Joshua Guilavogui settled in?
Really well. So I just have to give compliments to him, because obviously we were careful to bring a guy in, and we knew that he would be a top character, but he has more or less fulfilled not just all the expectations. I think he has overfilled them. So he's unbelievable. Also, since he arrived, he joined us in each every team training, so not one problem. And we have sometimes really tough sessions also, like for a player who was not in team training for a few months, sometimes difficult, but he's so professional also, like how he prepares for training, how he works also after training to look after himself in the gym, and super professional player, unbelievable character, and a really good player. So he's edging closer and closer. I wouldn't be scared right now if I would need him to play. So it's really good. On the other hand, especially defensive wise, we looked unbelievable strong in the last games, and especially on his positions, we had some really good performances with Pascal, with Joe Roden, and also with Ao and Joe Roswell in midfield. So for that, I'm not forced to rush him into the team, but it's definitely beneficial for us to have him available, and also his experience and leadership, although he has not featured for us so far, but also in the dressing room, and he leads by example also, like what it means to be a professional. It's definitely good to have him around, and I spoke about his language skills as well. It's also important for the group. So it was definitely a good choice to add him to the squad.
We talked about the defence quite a bit. You've only conceded 8 league goals, Daniel, so you're delighted with that so far. But against a side this weekend who's conceded 22, surely the emphasis has to be how much damage you can inflict.
Yes, it's always both has to come together. So first of all, we have to repeat again our really good defensive behavior and the controlling of all the counterattacks. Yes, on the other side, we also want to create chances also to be a bit more effective in using them. And I'm still very respectful, I have to say, so because once we prepare for opponent, we normally have a deeper look into more or less into the last 8 games. And if you analyze more or less the last eight games of Plymouth, you have to say they have shown both faces. A bit in the away games, they've lost 4 games. But in the home games, they were unbeaten and won 10 points out of these 4 games, and against really good sides. And I think it always depends on how much you make sure that you make out of this game your game and not their game. Because if you allow them to play football, it's a really good football side. They play brave and with courage. And if you allow them to develop their game, they can be dangerous. And also in their away games, yes, they've lost the last 4 away games, but 3 times in the thinnest margin that was possible. 3 times the 1-0. They had in the last 8 games just one really poor game against Cardiff, but it had also to do with the red card anyhow. So I think they showed some resilience also in the last game. So that doesn't mean that we are scared or whatever. So of course we are greedy to be successful in this game, and we want to win all 3 points. But we are also respectful. We know that first of all, we have to make sure that we do the basics, that we make sure that we don't allow them to develop their game, and then on the other hand also to find some good options to create chances and to score goals. And yes, especially in the home games, we've done this in the last weeks on a fantastic level. Yes, we should be a bit more effective than the last away game where we missed too many good chances. But overall, I think if we can bring the same level of the performance like in the last weeks on the pitch, we have also a good chance to win some points.
There's a lot comes with Wayne Rooney, Daniel, of course, but you often talk about the handwriting of a manager or a head coach. What is his handwriting, if you like? What is his imprint when you've looked at his managerial career?
Well, Wayne was a world-class player and has experienced everything as a player, and it's quite normal that a lot of attention is always on them, a lot of spotlight, and then you, of course, polarize always. But he has meanwhile also some experience as a manager, although he's still a young manager, but he has so much experience, especially as a player also in the game, and he's also the type who will never crack under pressure and is also used to be in the spotlight and to handle expectation. This is also what you have to do as a manager, and you can see also this handwriting in his team. So his teams never just try to park the bus and just go for long balls and second balls. They try to play football, and this is something what I really like. Also Plymouth, they are quite often really brave and go for the game, and especially in the home games, we're able to play effective in order to use their chances. They have good offensive options, have players who can score goals, good strikers. Whittaker, obviously also a key player, not just in this year, but also in the last seasons for them. So they have some really threats up front. So it's important that we won't allow them to make out of their game, to play with confidence and to play also good possession football. We have to make sure that we explore a bit, also that they have to defend. And on this topic, we want to concentrate that we dominate the game as much as possible. But if you allow a Rooney side to play football, then this side can hurt you. They've shown this several times during the season. I'm always respectful, and I'm always also looking forward to see Wayne.
And finally for me, Daniel, with regards to when you're playing an underdog, you're quite good at managing the supporters' expectations. But when you've got young players, and you have a lot of young players, how do you manage them? And at the same time, you're managing the fans, but thinking, hang on, but I want my players to know that they could win this and they should win this. How do you manage that difference?
Well, I don't have to manage the fans. So our supporters are experienced. They know that it's difficult. They are just so emotional and want us to win in each every home game. This is the expectation that comes along once you work for Leeds United. So, and you have to handle it. So for that, the best way is to go and lead and to make sure that everyone is really excited. But you're right. You have to make sure that especially a young side never underestimates an opponent. But this will never happen for us, because although I've got many young players also in my squad, but we also know how tough and how tight each and every game on championship level is. And you have to be on it in each and every moment. Otherwise, if you give 2% less, you're in trouble in this league, and we know this. And it's just important that sometimes out of a good intention we are not overdoing things and try to force things and play a bit into the cards of the opponent. So sometimes you have to be patient. Yes, what is sometimes a bit difficult, of course. And Elland Road is a fantastic place and so full of emotion, so full of intensity. It's sometimes a bit tricky if you go into the trap and force the passes too much and play passes, although the situation is not prepared for this. So yes, the only thing is more or less like you have to speak about it. You have to train what you want to do and bring onto the pitch. Also to speak about how to manage your nerves, when the emotions are high. But I also don't want to put shackles on our feet. I also want to use this intensity and sometimes to be a bit over emotional and over aggressive and over motivated. It's not too bad. So I don't want to take this away, because it's also a big strength, but it's also important that we are not naive and that we don't lose the nerves, and we need to find a good mix like always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stuart's going to do his questions